The policy and forces of the military receivership called the Government of Western Australia, or better known as the West Australian Police, led by covert war criminal Col Blanche, are completely out of control. He will have you believe that WA is in a state of lawlessness, with his constant gaslighting about the necessity to quickly solve all of these so-called crimes, by any means necessary, it would seem. But there is no wave of crime here in the real world, given the tough circumstances that people are experiencing. There is no increase in murders, violent crimes, burglaries, and certainly no sign of it around the place or in the news for that matter. And quite the opposite to this, and out the other side of his mouth, he will be spruiking about how low the crime rates are. So which is it, Cole? Every time he talks about this non-existent crime wave, it's usually when he's talking about some new method of technology they have employed to constrict the freedoms and privacy or invade privacy, or more new militarised tactics or hardware and weaponry. All of the things are really to constrict and control the public. If you haven't noticed, it's getting so bad you've got your head buried in the sand, and the people who use the logic, if you're not doing anything wrong, you've got nothing to worry about, are the guiltiest for letting our liberties be eroded, and that logic is shrinking tighter around them also. We will show how by not even doing anything wrong, they are looking very hard and trying to find something wrong. And this is the problem with these United Nations peacekeepers, like the police here in the United Nations Trust territory like Australia. They are supposed to be keeping the peace like a normal police service would, but they go out looking for it and causing quite a lot of it. They should be sitting there in their station waiting to be called or alerted to some disturbance of the peace. And this is what we will show here, is their constant trespass into your private life. It started with the Road Traffic Act in 1968. Prior to that, they didn't have any power to bother you in your car on the road. So let's watch a couple of quick gaslighting videos from the Commissioner of Police, Col Blanche, and the fake reasons why they are harvesting data from you in massive quantities daily and using some alarming and very questionable methods.
Technology in policing is inescapable because technology in the world has rapidly advanced over so many years. Importantly, technology must include people. People must be able to understand information, must be able to use technology, and police in particular need to apply that to their human behaviour and their policing and their care and their duty. So I want to make that very clear. Any technology framework in our police force in WA involves our people being able to be good police. But what we do focus on is solving crime, and solving crime as fast as possible. So about 5 years ago, we implemented a new training program called ILA, Identify, Locate and Associate. And that relates to identifying those who commit crime, locating those people or those who need our help, because in WA, being such a large jurisdiction, we have people who get lost. We obviously have mentally unwell people who need our help, and we have to find where they are. But the A is probably the most important, and that is the associate. We need to find the data about where someone might be or who someone is who has committed a crime. And we do that through collecting data from the field, through number plate recognition, through telecommunications, CCTV, through all devices that collect information, which we do on a daily basis in thousands and thousands, if not millions of lines of data. So a human cannot consume that amount of information, which is why we use graph knowledge bases, all types of analytics tools to understand the information to help us solve crimes. But in 2024, data is king. And I often say to our police, we are a data agency that does policing because we are collecting so much information that can help us solve crimes that if we don't understand the data, if we can't do analysis over the data, then we won't be able to solve the crimes. And that includes, automatic number plate recognition, telecommunications data, forensics intelligence. There's so much data being collected that 5 years ago we undertook a technology reform that really focused on how we understand our data. The first part is collecting it, because we do have to collect it across 2.5 million square kilometres, which is a challenge. So from a technology perspective, we've started to roll out Starlink antennas on all of our vehicles. So at least the police officers who have mobility. They all have mobile phones, the latest mobile phones. They're able to collect the information. We can collect it from CCTV, ANPR, telecommunications. It's about getting the data somewhere to understand it. So we have a State Operations Command Centre, so all of the data comes into there, and then we have analysts, we have detectives, everyone working 24/7 in this State Operations Command Centre that can rapidly process the information.
Say that again.
We are a data agency that does policing
Say that again.
because we are collecting so much information.
Thanks, Cole. And it's the telecommunications what is the main focus of this video. The police are doing the opposite of what they should be doing with technology. In a normal world, you'd think they'd look for technology to best combat a certain or specific crime problem. Instead, they're acquiring all the available technology and then finding things to use it for and ways to use it against the population as a whole, and not just targeting the offending people. And I have in the past petitioned parliamentary committees for provisional approval for use of surveillance technology to be able to produce a case study or get legislation amended or created, tailored to allow them to use such technology. But I doubt this featured piece of technology has any such approval, and if it has, it would be pretty disgraceful by all involved. So there's been a very shady aeroplane since July 2022 that circles the suburbs of Perth at all hours of the day, but mainly at night. And it does not get used for or diverted for any useful means such as emergencies, search and rescue, bushfire tracking or high-speed chases. The Cessna 208 Caravan has a long fuel range and stays in the air for over 3.5 hours. It has an electro-optical and infrared camera turret mounted to its undercarriage, and it is integrated with the autopilot and can lock onto target premises and control the autopilot to fly large circles around the target whilst the camera remains trained on the target premises. But the camera is not in use all the time. What is in use during its flights is digital receiver technology, DRT, or colloquially known as a Dirtbox, or after one of the most advanced brand names called a Stingray. What these machines do is mimic a mobile phone tower and put out a stronger signal than the actual mobile towers. And as mobile phones are automatically attracted to the strongest signal tower, your phone connects via the SIM card's international mobile subscriber number to the Dirtbox, and as the signal passes through the Dirtbox, it simultaneously cracks the encryption of the phone voice and data transmissions and can include voice messages, SMS texts, identification of callers and receivers, and location data. As they fly around Perth for over hours and hours every day, the potential for some Dirtboxes like the Stingray can handle a volume of 200 phones at any one time, and is a constant process. As the plane travels, it acquires new phones and moves away from the phones just harvested. So this is the massive quantities of data that Commissioner Cole is referring to and how they're collecting it, with no warrant or oversight, your private information. These things are highly secretive and being used in the US by the FBI, US Marshals, and in jurisdictions in 23 states, and they must sign a non-disclosure agreement with the FBI because they are so invasive, in that they do not target certain individuals or certain phones like conventional surveillance. It is targeting everyone. They can never be regarded as truly a lawful piece of equipment, not in the civilian world. So I would like to hear, what is the explanation for why VLA with transponder number 7C6BDC, call sign not applicable, or Polair 64, is flying around and around in circles over Perth for the last 2+ years. To finish off, we'll play a video from the American Civil Liberties Union where they show a mock presentation of the potential for the use of data once collected. It knows no bounds with the type of software that can be developed. This is Australia today.
Thank you for joining us. We are excited to give you an exclusive first look into our new system for the acquisition and processing of Americans' location data. Using the target Mr. Jack Benjamin as a case study, we will explore our system's capabilities in the domestic policing context. As you can see, Mr. Benjamin was flagged as a potential DUI risk. But before we go too far, let's check out all of the background information we can access about our subject. We can track Mr. Benjamin's movements by date, look for patterns in his car travel, even use a heat map to see where he's been. If we view his top locations, oh, looks like lots of nights spent at someone else's private home. Must be a lover. But he left at 3:50 a.m. and didn't return until almost 6 weeks later. Could be some trouble in paradise? The house is registered to a Mary Smith. If we look at her other visitors, it seems that Mary has a few close friends. Wonder if Mr. Benjamin's aware that a certain Bill Montgomery has spent a few nights with her. But I digress. Let's go back to the main screen. Jack appears to be quite a union activist. We'd better notify our partner George over at Big Corp, just in case Jack has been involved with the trouble they've been having over there. Going back to Jack's lifestyle, we can look at where he tends to be, say between the hours of 2 and 5 a.m., and who is in close proximity during those hours. Well, there's his lover, but who are the others? It looks like they didn't share a bedroom, but we have to wonder what is going on with those other individuals at such a late hour. Police patrol might need to keep an eye on them, too. So far, we've just been poking around, but let's go back to that DUI pattern alert for Jack. If we take a peek at how the system data mined the conclusion that Jack was at risk of a DUI, you'll see 4 factors. First, there was a social gathering in progress. Click details to see who was there. Second, look at all of their location trails. 2 of them stopped at liquor stores. Third, one of the attendees has a prior. Finally, you can see that our live monitoring algorithms identified another attendee's movement pattern as highly suggestive of DUI. No officer was able to reach the suspect in time to administer a test, but his license plate number has been watch-listed for heightened scrutiny. Of course, a DUI is just one of the many possible alerts that the system can generate. There's another alert we received for one Clayton Porter for movement patterns suggesting possible criminal behavior. Upon investigation, the suspect was determined to be a real estate agent. But, folks, that's just a taste of what this powerful new system is capable of. We look forward to working with your department for many years to come in our mutual efforts to keep America a safe and controlled place where no one, no matter where they are, can commit wrongdoing. Thank you.